We are the History Boys. Thank you for listening again. I am Christopher Whedon, history boy, and nothing else clever to say about that. I really got to think about something funny before I start talking.
I'm Tyler Armentrout. I am nobody's favorite history boy, and I'm so happy to be here.
Tyler, you're my second favorite history boy.
Well,
after Zach.
That's my second favorite thing I've heard all day.
And I'm my third, and I cannot stand Jerry.
Yeah.
We do not hang out in real life.
No.
I am Zach Meck. I am the star of the show. Also History Boy.
Zach Meck and the History Boys.
That's going to be my off-Broadway show
regular,
that I'm in the middle of producing right now.
He's a regular Max Rebo.
Nice.
True.
Everyone remembers.
So I think it's, I don't think he's the lead in that. It's Finn McCool.
I thought it was Cy
Right?
Snoodles.
It's Finn McCool
now
is
I
an
have
Irish,
no idea what you're
Irish
talking.
folk hero.
Look,
I now remember that.
Welcome to the Star Wars cast, guys. The only podcast. Anyway,
There's not another
No,
Star
there's
Wars.
a bajillion
Yeah, I
Star
know.
Wars podcasts. And of course, I am Jerry Nash, a history boy. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, guys.
Jerry's my favorite history boy.
Oh,
I like all history boys equally,
No.
nice.
and all of you listeners are history boys and girls as well. And I love you all equally.
It sounded really convincing when he said it, but if you saw his face, you'd see the apprehension.
I was also giving
as he was
2
saying
thumbs down while saying it
Yeah.
and defecating.
it's true. It's true.
It's
And Jerry, honestly, you are my favorite history dad because you are the dad
Aw.
of this podcast.
Yeah. And Tyler is an actual dad. I could see he's like, well, fuck you, because I'm an actual dad.
Yeah, I'm the only actual dad here, you guys.
But I hand out spankings. The thing is they enjoy them a little too much, so I've stopped doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Join our Patreon and our Lonely fans.
yeah, and you're gonna see Jerry spanking us with our bare bottoms.
And
too.
I'm mad as hell.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
everyone else is like, okay, now me.
I'm like,
Yeah.
man, my daddy's full, and you're like, I didn't say to wear a diaper, Tyler. I'm not gonna spank you.
Why are you here nude wearing a diaper? And
You're like, I'm
going,
not nude,
"Ooh,
I'm wearing a
baby did a
diaper."
bad thing. It's horrible. I fucking hate it when you do that.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
I will say that
This is all
I'm not
Santa,
happy.
by the way.
I'm not happy about it.
I've had enough of your shenanigans.
enough about our side project.
Take it seriously, Terry.
Yeah.
God damn
Enough of the comedy.
it. Yeah.
Yeah,
This is history. It needs to be boring and dry.
Well, our subject for today goes real well with our last 2 episodes, as you can probably tell by the name of it.
Oh, yeah, I guess they would have seen that if they're listening to it.
Yeah. Today we are covering James Armistead Lafayette.
Lafayette's son.
No,
Kmart Lafayette.
but we'll get to why his name is Lafayette.
I would
In
hope
this
so.
So it's not the epilogue of Lafayette Part 2 that we're doing right now.
In some ways.
Okay. Because I mean, we've already done like a bajillion hours.
6 hours? How long was it? How long did
Like
it?
5.5 altogether.
5.5?
Yeah.
We're the internet's #1 authority on Lafayette-related content.
I don't know about that.
Until Mike Duncan releases his book, we
Yeah.
can still say it.
It just
that's true.
crushes us under the weight
Yeah.
He will.
of that.
All of our French and New Orleans listeners, please send us all your beignets as tribute to
Oh,
Lafayette.
jambalaya, mon ami.
Yeah.
History Boys.
Signed photos of Channing Tatum as Gambit.
Okay.
Mon cher.
Yeah.
In the often rumored but never come to fruition Gambit
Oh,
movie.
that's not happening.
Well, James Armistead Lafayette was an enslaved person that became a spy during the American Revolution. And without him and what he did, we don't have the decisive battle at Yorktown, maybe at all, and we don't win the Battle of Yorktown. Certainly. So without him, the war doesn't end the way it ends.
So you're saying the war was won by a double Lafayette situation?
A double Lafayette situation, yes. You have 2 Lafayettes.
Lafayette Squared.
It's almost a 3 Lafayette across the sky.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah. At what point was there somebody holding a gun to both of them and they're like, 2 Lafayettes.
Yeah, you have to
Which
shoot
one's
us.
the real
shoot
one?
us both.
Yeah,
That's the only way.
No, that
and then the
didn't
one who
happen.
says that is the real one. So then they shoot the other one.
Like, how did you know it was me? I didn't, and he shoots both.
Yeah, that's not at all what happened, but
It was in the movie I wrote.
Literally.
Kind of true.
now James Armistead was born into slavery in either 1748 or 1760, and there's a lot of time in between. And the thing is we just don't have the historical documentation to really actually prove when he was born.
That's why you write shit down.
See,
Socrates.
they don't care about enslaved people. So their whole history is not really, I mean, it is stripped away, but it's just simply willfully forgotten about.
Yeah, that's actually pretty sad.
Yeah.
So the birth certificate was actually from Kenya, and
They don't have birth certificates of enslaved people. The best they have are receipts because they are property, and when they were bought and sold, that's all they really have.
But I bet you the receipts were so cute because like handwriting, everyone had good handwriting back then. So it was like
Not necessarily.
diddy doop, and I own this person.
I think it was only like rich landowners that had the time and teaching to be able to get good handwriting.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, even then, like, some of the letters, it's like, some are easier to read than others. If you actually look at the real letters, it's like, man, they have... Because to me, good handwriting means... Legible. Like, certain people had... Like, I remember, like, Garfield's letters. Man was brilliant, but his letters...
Really all floopsy-doopsy?
Oh,
like,
my God, they're so hard to read.
yeah.
he was a regular doctor.
I'm not going to say anything about John Arbuckle. What I was going to say is all of John Hancock's letters were just one giant letter in the middle of the page. And it's like, I ran out of room.
And it's always J's and H's.
I was going to say something about
He only learned
John
how to write
Hancock as well.
He could only write the 2 letters, and he didn't want anyone to know, so he would just write the 2 letters he knew as big as he could in the middle of the piece of paper. And he's like, whoopsie doodle, I ran out of room again.
I remember when we had
he
to
needs
sign
a scribe.
stuff back in school where you I don't know, we put all our names on something. I don't remember why.
Oh.
Like everybody was like, write your name on this thing, and then we'll give it to the fucking sick kid. Whatever, and then he didn't show up again, but I would write it as big as I possibly could. Like, super big.
So the king could see it.
Well, yeah.
I was like,
are you like, is he dying of eye disease? Because he's going to see mine best.
It was like, he might have any kind of disease, I don't know, but if it's of the eye, I want him to see at least one, and be like, at least Chris cared before, I don't know, he moved to
Well, the bigger you write your name, the more you care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a rule of society.
And then when he gets
when he gets better.
can't
even say what his name is.
He's like, your name was the biggest, so now we got to be best friends. And you're like, but you're all better now. And he's like, not quite. I'm going to be sick forever. So, but you're like push me around my wheelchair and like take me to my doctor's appointments. And you're like, fuck, what I get myself into?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
You got to move out of town after that.
That's why he did.
Change your name.
You're like, yeah.
This is before Facebook. You can just reinvent yourself.
You're like, hey,
Yeah, fuck it.
hey, sick kid, you want to hang out under these power lines or go eat at fucking McDonald's or whatever?
James's name, James Armistead. Armistead came from his owner's name, William Armistead. That's where I got the name Armistead from. This was very common. If you're able to trace your lineage back to enslaved people, you'll notice this. This happens all the time. It's very par for the course.
So wait, like George Jefferson, his ancestors were owned by Thomas Jefferson.
Or A. Jefferson. Or Clinton. I'm not saying that...
George Clinton and the Parliament Funkadelic were owned by Bill Clinton's family.
Yeah.
300 years prior.
You said it, not me.
I'm just saying.
I'm saying
There's
it.
no proof for that.
But their suffering
Don't even
gave
get me
us some dope-ass music.
There's some white names that are clearly mixed in. Now, William Armistead, he was a farmer, but he also served as a member of the Virginia House of Delegates. And he was involved in the Revolutionary War as managing war supplies. And that's what he did. And so, James Armistead, of course, worked for his master doing this. So he would move supplies from here to there, basically, and do that, right? Like, that was his job in a lot of ways.
He's like, move this stack of guns and this stack of ammunition behind the shed. Do not mix them. Do not point them at me.
It was probably
and he's
food.
like,
It was probably food stores. Sorry.
I'd like to think he was like, I got this bomb I found behind the shed, and he's like, oh my god, I thought you were going to kill me. I'm so glad you're content. And he's like, oh fuck, I could have killed you. It would have been worth it.
It would have been worth it because you've literally enslaved me.
Yeah. Now, most sources agree that James was literate. Now, the thing is about James Armistead Lafayette's life is a lot of it, we don't know the exact truth. You know what I mean? We don't know exactly what is going down, but we know enough to kind of form a pretty cohesive story of his life.
What was probably written about him was like third party weight, like what people heard down the road when it was actually once it became a big deal.
It comes from diaries and it comes from letters, and a lot of history does come from letters and correspondence and this kind of thing. That's how we kind of know. There's also, documents that we're going to see later that are from the Virginia House of Delegates that reference him and his age, and that's where we sort of get maybe some birth years
Get
of
some of those puzzle pieces.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like a scattered puzzle, and you don't know where all the pieces are, and you keep trying to put it back together. We still don't have all of it.
It's like a puzzle that you buy at a garage sale.
Yeah. One source even said that he was bilingual, that he could speak both English and French. I kind of doubt this. I think they're getting this from the fact that he was good friends with the Marquis de Lafayette. Okay. It's a source, so, hey, it could be true.
I mean, it didn't really help that the Marquis de Lafayette taught him a couple phrases, like "Voulez-vous coucher avec moi?" Merde.
Ménage et toi.
Omelette du fromage. Was what the ladies really loved.
Omelette du fromage. Remember that Dexter laboratory?
That's exactly what we're
remember that
referencing.
episode of Dexter?
Yeah. Where he said that somebody before he murdered them in cold blood is the hero of the show.
He hilariously could only say omelette du fromage as he murdered people because he needed to.
Yeah, he plunged a knife into a man's chest while the ghost of his late father pleaded over his shoulder to only kill people that were bad enough.
Whether or not he was literate or not, now I'll kind of talk about the implications of whether or not he was literate or not. But if he was literate, then what that means is that his owner, William Armistead, gave him that education so he would be more valuable.
So he could read screenplays. Like Lance Henriksen.
It's like an investment to give a slave education. Yeah. Because now they can read and write, now they're worth more, right? You put more time and effort into it. And that's exactly how they thought of it, right? Like, a slave is simply property. Like, that is something that is so hard for us to wrap our minds around in this day and age, but back then, that's what this was. They considered these human beings as property.
It's not that I can't wrap my mind around it, is it feels gross to wrap my mind around it.
Does
that make sense? Like, it's just like...
It's an uncomfortable truth, is what it is.
Yeah, for sure.
And what, like, I mean, we've seen it this past year about how a lot of these uncomfortable truths in our society, when they kind of come to light to people who don't really know or understand why these things are there because they never see them, they just don't know the history of all of the black experience, basically.
Sure,
right? And that's why it's so uncomfortable.
There's a point in time where you could essentially lose a human life that was in your indentured employ, and it would feel the same way as like when your save data gets erased on like Diablo.
Jesus fucking.
You're like, I spent like 100 hours on this character. He had like sweet gear.
I was gonna say that it's like it's a very privileged white thing to be able to be like, that makes me uncomfortable to think about, so I'm not going to think about it. When there are people who have to live it every day.
Every day, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And you can't magically shed that. You know what I mean? You wear it on your skin. You know what I mean?
You can pretend because you don't deal with it, therefore nobody actually deals with it.
Yeah. And if you've never, seen it, right? Then it must not exist.
That's fucking gross. That makes me uncomfortable too.
Yeah, exactly.
So we buried Tyler's joke in a bunch of real shit.
It only
I feel bad.
But what I will say is the only way to ever stop it is through understanding, right?
Yeah, agreed.
And it's a grim understanding because history is not oftentimes pretty.
Yeah.
I mean, we've talked on nearly every episode that we've had. It's never fucking pretty. It's never,
Yeah, don't lie to yourself.
So I've said it a million times, but like we can't be afraid of our history, and this is world history. This is American history. So we can't be afraid of it. We must understand it. We must absorb it. It must be a part of us, no matter what. Anyway, now if he was illiterate, then what that means, and as you'll see, what that means is that he must have had a photographic memory. So he either has literacy, he knows how to read and write, or, and maybe a little bit of both, he has a photographic memory. Having somebody who can read and write as your property, to them was more valuable simply because they could they could read things and sign things and write. They knew what was happening.
I like that you're being very careful how you put that.
you can entrust them to do certain things for you.
Yeah,
okay? That's what that is.
Well, and I think we're gonna kind of run into this in the episode, that the reason why that this isn't common is because that there's a certain amount of trust and a certain amount of risk that goes into that, because educating somebody means that they know what's going on. They can read the paper.
That's what I was thinking too. Is it's like they didn't want, like in European history or wherever, they didn't want serfs to know how to read.
Understand this though. On top of that,
well, just think that there's
understand
a lot
this,
of gray area between all these things.
For sure, but understand this though. It is so fucking ingrained into society that this is the place for black people, and this is where they go. They don't go beyond that, and they cannot go beyond that. So, even if you, let's say you are the Marquis de Lafayette of slaves, and you're very educated, and you read all these things, and you get all of these Enlightenment ideals of liberty and equality and all of these things, what the fuck can you do about it? Nothing is the answer. Nothing.
Right. Yeah.
So here, the difference is that one person with white skin has the opportunity, has the means, like in the French Revolution, to fight a monarch. Whereas enslaved black people do not have that means.
Right.
You know what I mean? It is culturally impossible for that to occur.
So you're saying that the system is rigged, and no matter how educated you are, like, there's systems in place to essentially maintain the status quo.
Exactly.
So working really hard doesn't actually mean anything.
No.
Everything's meaningless.
Exactly. And when we get to the end, you're really going to see it. It'll really become clear for you. Now, during the Revolution, James lived in Williamsburg, Virginia, with his master William. And William, as I said, he sold and managed military supplies to the Continental Army by 1781. And 1781 is a very pinnacle year. And that is when some very fateful things happened. And 1781 had to be a important year for the British, especially. You know, this is the time where Cornwallis is burning his way through Virginia, and the outlook of the war is very uncertain. Mm-hmm. And, you know, even Washington is up in New York, and he thinks that the decisive battle, even the British think that the decisive battle is going to be in New York, right? But all the British forces, they're a little scattered because the French just joined the war.
They got the York part right.
Yes, indeed.
50% correct.
Yeah.
Oh, man, if that fight was in New York, we'd get these movies, you know, a couple 100 years down the line, Scorsese would be like, I'm making this about me. Thank God we dodged that bullet.
When Washington spoke to the Oracle, he was only half paying attention. He heard the word York, and he just went with it.
He just walked out.
He was like, "What's the York you knew best?" He went with New. Oh, he must have said New York. I was texting.
Yeah.
Well,
George Washington was texting when he was talking to the Oracle at Delphi.
When he's like, I've heard 100 Yorks. Yeah. There's 1 million Yorks around here.
I was like, either it's York in England or New York. He forgot about Yorktown.
There's a bunch of York places in America. Yeah.
Well, you're also forgetting that Washington was a sucker for the York peppermint patties.
Ah.
He was like,
what would you
that-
do
That's
for
why.
a Klondike bar?
Wait,
Anyway.
that's a different one.
Yeah, that's a different
what
candy
would
bar.
you do?
That tastes
Ooh.
exactly the same.
Yeah,
For a
exactly.
York peppermint patty.
Yeah.
Well, no,
Peckerman.
they're shaped.
Peckerman.
It's
Pemmican
shaped
patty.
the same. It's not a pemmican patty.
The York pemmican patty.
Okay, we're way off the rails. Guys. Way off the rails.
So what the British were really trying to do were to crush American supply lines through the South, right? And if you can't feed your army, then your army will be crippled, right? And that's it's more complicated than that, but in essence, that's what they were trying to do by burning through Virginia. And it was also like that classical war style of trying to basically devastate the populace's resolve to continue. If you bring the war, the old Sherman quote, "War is hell, so we will bring war to the people." Because once the people quit, then the war is over, right? So that it's an age-old war reality.
Yeah,
that the British were.
It's psychological
bringing.
warfare, psyops.
And if your village is burned, do you really want to? Is the first thing on your mind, I'm going to go and fight, or is it fuck this?
Yeah.
Enough of this.
I thought that meant psychic operations.
It does. PsyOps does.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they're getting in your head. They're just
Some
not
fucking-
doing it with mind power. I mean,
We're talking Tim Schafer shit.
Yeah.
Psychonauts.
Yeah. So, in March of 1781, George Washington had sent the trusted Marquis de Lafayette south in hopes of crushing and then hanging Benedict Arnold and his brand new British division.
fucking
Traitor.
traitor.
Oh,
Yeah.
I wish he hanged.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
like to see that. I know I wasn't born yet, but
Still. Yeah.
Ruins brunch for me to this day. I'm like,
I get it.
Yeah, I get the eggs Benedict, and then I flip the plate and I call it a fucking traitor.
Yeah, and then you're not welcome with that fucking
No,
bed
then
and
you've been
breakfast anymore.
86.
Yeah,
This move would also help just sort of slow the British advance until they kind of figured out what to do. Maybe even bolster their armies in New York, right? For they were going to invade, and it was supposed to be decisive.
hopefully you demoralize people to the point where they're like rig-a-dig-do, chimney sweep, I'm one of you guys, give me a red coat. How about it, governor? And they're like, you're not British. They're like, I am now.
It's governor, first of all.
Yeah.
Well, it also didn't help that it was people like hipsters from Williamsburg, New York,
Yeah.
who were trying to play off being chimney sweeps.
Yeah.
Not
Like they
Williamsburg,
already got the
Virginia.
ironic mustaches and shit,
They're like, can you shoot? And they're like, no, but I'm like a mixologist, and then like I have like a high concept like music project. I'm like, it's like a band, but like what if like a band was like also a garbage, like a garbage dump, but it was like also a band, and it was also like live performance art, and we all wore leotards and we made cocktails.
Oh, like a Captain Beefheart. No. It's something different, man. It's
It's like way different than
By
that.
the way,
there's also puppets.
I just want to mention that for Chris's bachelor party, we stayed in Williamsburg.
I'm sorry.
And no,
That was a lot of fun.
dude, Williamsburg is fucking fantastic.
Pretty
I
great.
love Williamsburg.
And I have a mustache now because of that.
I thought it was
so do I.
I thought we were going to be staying in colonial Williamsburg, and I was ready to see, learn how to, churn
Not
butter. and
Williamsburg, Virginia.
I was disappointed. I got it mixed up.
yeah.
I thought I was going to learn how to, churn butter.
It was like in Choke.
yeah.
You remember?
Pretty much just, I thought we were going to go to the place from Choke, and it wasn't. And the Choke's on me.
I hate you. So while in Williamsburg, Virginia, as Lafayette's military passed through Williamsburg and was re-equipping, they'd go through and they'd re-equip, their food stores and their guns and their bullets and all that shit. The Marquis met a man moving supplies for his owner. That was James.
Okay.
Jimmy.
And
That's what Lafayette said to him.
Lafayette talked to him, And the thing is something that James never forgot, is that when Lafayette spoke to him, he spoke to him like a human being. He didn't talk down to him. James at some point even described to Lafayette how he's sort of an invisible person. How none of the white people see James unless they need something. You know what I mean? Unless they want something.
Ever read that book, Invisible Man?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, absolutely. Invisible Man is it's one of my favorite books because it's culturally incredibly telling about so many different things. One of my favorite books, absolutely. James was an invisible person, and they were to be sort of seen but not heard. They were like a lobby boy from Grand Budapest Hotel.
Hands off my lobby boy.
Yeah. They're supposed to be everywhere and nowhere.
But
right?
in a way, that would make the perfect spy.
Exactly.
Oh, so you're saying get a lobby boy.
Right?
The guy that bullies Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Right? It's the same actor.
Yeah, Tony Ravioli.
Yeah.
Is that actually his name?
Can't be. So
Close.
Lafayette started asking him, questions like, hey, what's the surrounding area like? What's Virginia like itself? What is this area? You know what I mean? He's just getting intelligence from somebody who lives there.
Where's a good place to eat? Where do the locals eat?
Yeah, right. It was clear to Lafayette that James was this quick-witted, smart, observant man. And things could have gone a number of ways after this, and it went one of two ways. Either James asked his master, William, if he could join up with Lafayette, or Lafayette asked William if James could join up with Lafayette. Either way, William agreed to let James join under Lafayette, right? And James thought that he was going to be a black soldier, because that was not unheard of in the Continental Army, or even in the British Army. Not unheard of. So James thought he was going to be like holding a musket, he was going to be in the front lines, because that's where they put him.
Yeah.
He's like, badass. I'm going to get killed first.
Well, if
after
you
this war, we're all going to be free and live together, right? And it's like, easy there.
Well, the thing is both sides did promise.
Yeah.
If you fight for us, we will free you.
And then they laughed and they laughed.
Yeah. If you fight for us, things are going to get way better. You're going to free us. Things are going to get we got a roadmap. We got a roadmap. It's on there. We're going to get to it.
It's like, but if we free you now, it'll fuck the economy up.
Well, think of it this way. The Americans had just been British 5 years earlier. And they just sort of put on different uniforms, but they're basically the same people to James, right? Mm-hmm. So he's thinking, okay, I could go and fight with the British. They're promising my freedom. I could trust the Americans to give me my freedom after I'm done fighting. But the thing is, you got to think about it this way. With the British, if you fight with the British and they give you their freedom, you're going to go live in Britain.
Which is so far from home.
Well, and think about it. You were born in Virginia.
Yeah.
Your family, you have family.
Yeah.
They're in Virginia. You know what I mean? What is freedom for you actually going to be without your family or anyone you care about?
They don't let you bring your family with you?
No.
God, they fucking treated these people poorly. I'm starting to realize
that. Yeah.
I'm not starting to realize that. Go ahead, Zach. I'm sorry.
It also didn't help out that he would also be leaving behind any sort of flavoring for the food.
What Lafayette instead suggested was that James could be a spy.
Cool. I can't do it. How do you do it? Yeah, there you go. Thanks.
Yeah.
I played GoldenEye.
Yeah.
He's going to do that.
He's going to run through the Aztec temple and
he's going to be Odd Job, because he can't... His diminutive stature is related to the fact that James people don't...
Jesus Christ.
Odd
Do I gotta explain everything to you guys?
I know what you're trying to do. I know what you're trying to do.
In that game.
No, Odd Job... I thought Odd Job was big because he was the hat guy.
No, he was big in the...
I'm thinking of Jaws. I'm thinking of Jaws.
I'm thinking of Jaws.
But he
was also Odd Job.
Odd Job was a hat guy.
Odd Job was small in the game, and you'd shoot over his head.
Because the Odd Job parody in Austin Powers, Random Task, threw a shoe.
Random task. Yeah, that was funny.
Who throws a shoe?
You fight like a woman, which is a little bit sexist, to be honest.
Yeah.
But he was from the 60s. Continue, Jerry.
Okay.
God damn it.
Lafayette had remembered what James had told him, like, you're an invisible man. Like, this is fucking perfect. You are an invisible man. You can move, literally, between camps and be totally undetected, be totally fine. No one's ever going to give you a second look.
Yeah.
So, James, only realizing that he can't trust the Americans to set him free, because, come on.
Yeah.
He can't trust the British, and even if they did set him free, he'd be without his family. So he can't do the British. He can't really even trust the Americans. But the Marquis is a Frenchman. The Marquis is different. The Marquis is fucking, again, magnanimous. Everywhere he goes, people fucking love and respect this guy.
He had so many points in diplomacy.
Yeah, exactly.
And charisma.
And martial ability. The dude's a dynamo.
Diplomacy in Crusader Kings is charisma.
Yeah, exactly.
If you put 100 points into it by cheating, you put people in jail and they still love you.
Yeah. Marquis de Lafayette's not good at stewardship, though.
No.
He's terrible at it.
That's
Anyway.
kind of the best one, though.
It kind of is. Or intrigue, for that matter. Anyway,
Crusader Kings.
Yeah.
Crusader Kings. You gotta get in on it. You gotta get in on it.
Great.
It's so good, right?
The whole time I wanted to play it, I just didn't have the right computer.
So he did agree to be Lafayette's invisible man, his invisible spy on the inside of the British camps. Now here was the plan. James was to cross over into enemy lines, posing as an escaped slave. And what he was going to do is he was going to offer his services to the British in exchange for his freedom, right? And the British were like, fantastic, you're going to be like a manservant, cook, waiter, whatever. But he got like this, because he was so smart, he got like the cush job with being with Benedict Arnold. And like being Benedict Arnold's like personal waiter, manservant kind of guy.
And then when he's sleeping, slit his throat.
I wish.
Oh.
But no, the information was more important, right?
So he sits in, listens to the guy talk about all the sexual things that they do with their wives.
No.
And he hears about it, and he
And then he
writes
paints
it
a
down.
picture.
He paints a picture, brings it back to the Americans, and it's like, here's all the boring stuff these Brit guys are doing with their wives. And they're like, what a bunch of losers. And they all laugh and laugh at him. Got him. War won.
No.
Boring missionary position for 3 minutes till they climax with no foreplay whatsoever.
Except for the one guy
It's
who has
silent.
the Kama Sutra and it exhausts his wife, unsatisfied with wheelbarrow after wheelbarrow after wheelbarrow. I'm sorry, honey.
No. The information was much more valuable because what he was doing is he was trying to find out like troop movements and troop strength of Benedict Arnold because that was the first target for Lafayette to go after was Benedict Arnold. Again, George Washington wanted to see that motherfucker hang, and so that's what he was first looking at. And he did, in Benedict Arnold's mind, like he did such a good job. And he could trust him real well. He had defected, basically. So he had no suspicions of James acting out, And what James would do is he would take this information and he would go outside the camp, like into the woods outside the camp. And he would meet up with an emissary of Lafayette's and he would hand over the information that he would take over to Lafayette. And then he'd just go back into the camp. And again, he's an invisible man. No one fucking sees him. No one cares. So he can go and do this, and no one's the wiser. So when Benedict Arnold went north, and Lafayette chased him, he did that because he knew where Benedict Arnold was going, based off of what he learned from James.
Cool.
I want to see the unmade comedy about this, where Gene Wilder is Lafayette, and
That's
Richard
good
Pryor
casting.
is Lafayette.
That's that is so good casting.
Fuck, I love that.
Dude, I would watch that
It would have
movie.
been the third in the trilogy.
Yeah, that would have been so good. Yeah. I would have watched that.
I just want to see Richard Pryor just picking up people's sandwiches off the plate and being like, Invisible Man. And they're like, hey, what the fuck, my sandwich? And he's like, Invisible Man.
I want to see how much cursing is in this story
That'd
with
be
Richard Pryor.
so
Richard
much.
Pryor. Yeah, that'd be so good.
So Mel Brooks is directing this, but
Absolutely.
Oh, of course.
But who is Mel Brooks going to be? Because he's got to do a camera.
Cornwallis.
Cornwallis,
He's gotta
yeah.
be Cornwallis.
Oh, yeah.
But
But he'll play it super Jewish.
or Benedict Arnold.
or George Washington.
There's options there.
Yeah, there's
All
options.
of them would be great.
It's
Yeah.
the reason why in the future AI will take all of human history and make it into the best movies.
Yeah.
We'll be like,
True.
dude,
I can't do any better.
that Google AI bot makes the best fucking movies.
So this plan of being inside the British camp and passing messages along to Lafayette, it worked incredibly well. Insanely well. And again, it was either because he was literate and was able to pass on messages that way, or he had a photographic memory and was able to pass along messages that way.
Or the Brits were incompetent, and that's why all your TV shows only last 2 seasons and a Christmas special. You guys.
Oh, Netflix doesn't do that?
Fair enough.
That's a very good point.
Owned
Yeah.
by the British.
For a shittier reason?
No, it's
For a
not.
shittier
It was a
reason?
very American company.
Yeah, it's a very...
All right. Well, it works so well that Benedict Arnold, before he left, he entrusted and recommended James to General Cornwallis,
Wow.
which works so well for James, right? Like James is like, now I'm in the service of fucking Cornwallis. He's standing inside of Cornwallis's tent,
Yeah.
and just standing there, and like Cornwallis is having private conversations about the war, like all sorts of stuff around him.
So in this movie that we've been writing for the story in particular, I could totally see Cornwallis being Ricky Gervais.
I could sort of see that too.
If we're going,
We're doing modern.
outside of the Mel Brooks sphere.
yeah.
Oh, if we're doing modern, I would cast. Scarlett Johansson is James.
As James on the sideline.
Zero controversy there.
No.
It'll be fine. She'll have blackface on.
Yeah, that always works.
Anthony Hopkins did it.
It's true. A lot of people have done it. Through most of time.
Scarlett Johansson is Othello.
Scarlett Johansson, Tony Hopkins, Justin Theroux.
The information that James gathered would lead Lafayette to almost catch Benedict Arnold, but he slipped away. Again, story for a different day.
Got on a helicopter and was like,
but
almost got me again.
yeah. But in the meantime, he'd be with General Cornwallis, and being with General Cornwallis, again, like he got to see all of these very intimate conversations, very frank conversations, candid conversations with his officer corps and his troop movements and exactly what was going on. And he got so close to Cornwallis inside of his tent that he straight up, with the information he gave to Lafayette and the Continental Army, what that means is that he straight up saw the plans. He looked at the plans. The all of the British plans.
And his brain was like...
Yeah, and like he saw the goods, like the dream thing for a spy to find, and brought him right back to Lafayette. Now,
looked up the skirt of the British war machine.
yeah, pretty much.
And he got to see everything he needed to see, if you know what I mean.
But they were just like, he's a waiter, doesn't matter. He just brings food in and out. Doesn't matter. And they didn't realize that he was looking. Now, Lafayette was sending dispatches back to Washington and Rochambeau telling him, like, hey, this shit's fucking going down. Like, we can trap them here. Like, there's an opportunity to trap them here. And, Arnold got away and whatnot. But there's a point to trap Cornwallis here. And what's going on is that Cornwallis is waiting for the British ships to come and reinforce him. But if we stop those ships from coming, and we form a blockade around Yorktown where he's planning on going,
He's gonna know.
then what we can do is we can corner him and we can crush him because he won't have any sea support.
We can end this war in Yorktown. We can block them off at sea.
Exactly.
That is from Hamilton.
Yes, it is.
He was like, we'll call it the Yorktown Massacre.
No, the Battle of Yorktown. Just like the Battle of Hinterkaifeck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that was good.
Rochambeau and the French forces, they instantly just started moving for the Chesapeake Bay. And at first, Washington was like, they fucking lied to me. They said that they were going to have my back up here in New York, and they're moving. Well, that's just because that they got word before Washington did. And then once Washington got, like, the word that, like, oh, he's going to have his back up against the water with the French blockade around him, we can do this here and now. Washington was like, okay, but I have a fucking problem, though. Because I've been sitting up here in New York for a long time, waiting for this invasion to happen. I need to gather my guys and get all the way down to fucking Yorktown, Virginia, and make this battle happen. What if they get away? What if I miss it? Totally, completely, because...
And then they head back up.
Yeah, exactly, like there's so many what-ifs and whatnot.
It also didn't help that Washington's still waiting from his dentist to get his real teeth back.
Yeah.
Because his wooden teeth were still,
He didn't have wooden teeth.
They were splintering into his gums at that point in time.
Well, so he had a set of wooden, but he also had a set of teeth that were called Waterloo teeth, and those were
Here
teeth
we go.
that were collected after the Battle of Waterloo and made into dentures for rich
Waterloo
people.
happened after this.
Wait. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think no.
It was a water park too. In,
Tyler, let me tell you where those teeth came from.
Horses.
They were half made from ivory and half made from human teeth.
No, because-
I'll give you two guesses
Walrus.
who the human teeth were from.
Slaves.
Them.
Chris, you're correct.
And the ivory was from walruses.
There's probably from elephants, maybe from walruses.
There was some from walruses.
Maybe-
but
Maybe
no,
Those
narwhal.
elephants fought in the Battle of Waterloo. They were time travelers. Waterloo teeth are a real thing.
Jesus.
Tyler,
They're
you're
re-
completely wrong.
No. Okay,
It
I'm
was
not
walruses.
fucking crazy. Okay, I got the dates wrong.
Walruses fought in Waterloo and traveled
We're
backwards
talking
in
about
time.
General Washington right now.
General Washington had teeth that were not wood,
He
They
had
were
human
made-
teeth.
were made of solid steel, and they could fucking punch through fucking...
No.
You're
no.
thinking of Jaws when he bites the fucking giant cord
Yeah.
in
Yeah, and then the ski lift does
Yeah,
the
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Is
Well,
that
that's not-
Moonraker?
That's
No, you know what it was? Okay.
I don't
He's in
fucking
2.
know.
Jaws is in 2.
He is in 2.
Well, either way, truth be told, no, the reason... Okay, so I read a thing about fucking George Washington's teeth, inconsequential to this, but they did mention that dentures of the time typically were either ivory, they'd use horse teeth,
slave teeth.
or slave teeth, and then many dentures were made from human teeth, and a major source of those human teeth was the Battle of Waterloo, despite the fact that it was after. George Washington's weren't, but many dentures were. They called the dentures for a long time Waterloo teeth because so many dentures were made from dead fucking people from the Battle
This
of
is
Waterloo.
true. This is true.
This is after...
but this is not George Washington.
not George Washington. It says were made from fucking slave teeth. It's fucking gross.
Those are made for time traveling walruses.
Washington.
And elephants.
Washington was actually, let's cry the smallest tear for Washington because he was always very self-conscious about his teeth.
Aw,
How did he lose his fucking teeth? Probably didn't brush them.
There's no such
Gingivitis.
thing as fucking toothbrushes and toothpaste.
That's
back
where
then.
the horses come in,
How
because
old
their
was he at this
hair
point?
was used to make
He's
the
in his
brushes.
late 40s.
I've never brushed my teeth once, and
He lost his fucking teeth. They rotted out of his fucking skull.
I brushed them today.
He had meth teeth.
Yeah.
Probably
George Washington was smoking a fuck ton of meth.
It's like, oh, my
Like
teeth.
he all that
Hitler.
energy.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
My teeth fell out of my face. They're all rotten. Well, what have you been eating? Nothing but rotten teeth.
It's like,
was
bring me my
eating?
slaves. Let me pluck their teeth out of their fucking head and put them in my mouth.
Shove them in my face. Like that's
Yeah.
some kind of plug and play
That's-
fucking body horse situation.
Think about it, dude. the implications of having slave teeth in your fucking dentures is not fucking pretty.
Meanwhile, you got some...
That means you straight up had to pluck teeth out of people's head to be like, now your pretty tooth is going in my mouth.
And my wooden tooth is going in your mouth.
No, you don't get a wooden tooth. You get no teeth.
You get no teeth? How are you supposed to eat stuff?
Well, that's for them to figure out, isn't it?
I thought it was like that fucking episode of Tales from the Crypt where that buff guy changes places with that old guy. So at least he gets something.
Slaves don't get shit in return. Okay, so Washington, once he realized, like, oh shit, we could trap Cornwallis in Yorktown. Once he realized that could be a plan, he sent word to Lafayette and he said, listen, you gotta keep Cornwallis there. Keep him there. Make sure he doesn't move. Because if I'm in the middle, if I'm in between here and there, when he moves, we're all fucked.
You gotta stall him.
We're all fucked. Stall him. Stall him as much as you can. And so, a couple of beautiful things happened where Cornwallis became so trusting of James that he goes, I have a proposition for you, James.
I want you to spy on the Americans.
Yes! I want you to spy on the Americans for me. No. What an idiot! So he tells James exactly what Lafayette told James. He goes, listen to their conversations. Pretend like you're a runaway slave. And so James he goes back to Lafayette and he goes, you're never going to believe this, but Cornwallis asked me to be a slave against, or a spy against you. And they're both like, holy shit, this is fucking amazing.
Goldmine.
So what Lafayette does is, like, he drafts, like, these misleading plans. Like, just enough real information to make Cornwallis... to make Cornwallis believe that it's real.
It's not like we're all running away and quitting.
No. Right. Like, so what
it has to be believable.
Yeah, so what he told him was, like, Lafayette's gonna be reinforced by all these soldiers, and they're gonna come and fight against Cornwallis. So Cornwallis, instead of, like, heading to Yorktown straight away, because again, like, he didn't agree with Clinton all that much, General Clinton all that much, and the two didn't like each other, so he kind of drug his feet going to Yorktown, and he wanted to, like, fight back Lafayette and his reinforced forces, and he thought that maybe he can crush this, move up to New York, and with the full brunt of the British force, finally crush General Washington and the Continental Army up there.
Good.
So, he stayed and fought Lafayette. And what Lafayette would do is sort of a rope-a-dope. You know what I mean? He would throw out jabs and fucking stay just far enough away that their two armies didn't exactly engage.
Yeah. He was collecting points at that point.
Exactly, yeah. You know, another reason for why Lafayette was sort of a military genius in a lot of ways. And he's like 21. You know?
I just like that.
He's still fucked up from his 21st birthday run and everything.
Yeah.
I just like that he's using everybody's racism against them.
Yeah. That's pretty much what he's doing.
This is genius.
Yeah.
God, I love Lafayette.
Yeah. So,
of course he had his flaws, but...
Yeah, well, you know, this story might make you like Lafayette even a little bit more.
I already liked him.
So James gets so close to Cornwallis, and he sees the plans, and he does all this, and just because he was able to freely move in and out of the camps doesn't mean that his job wasn't without danger. Like, the thing is that if he were to be caught as a spy...
Oh, he'd be dead.
He would certainly be executed right fucking then and there. So this was, make no fucking mistake, gentlemen, this was an extremely dangerous job. Because at any point he could be found out. Mm-hmm. And there was at one point where he was like going into the woods at night. And he was going down this road and he couldn't tell if this patrol ahead of him were the Americans that he was set to make rendezvous with, or if they were British. But what they did is they called halt to him, and he was like, oh shit, I don't think this is them, because they wouldn't just be like, halt, stop, what are you doing? And so what he did is he like took off down like these brambles and shit, and they formed up, and they just shot a volley of muskets at him. And now
full
here,
row of death.
well, here's the thing to understand about muskets is there was a saying back then, and it was if you don't want to be hit by a musket ball, stand in front of a musket because they were so inaccurate.
Yeah, yeah.
Rifling hadn't been invented yet.
Well, exactly.
But if they hit you,
exactly.
it fucked you up.
Yeah.
Yes, but the thing is that's why they formed those lines is to shoot lines of these musket balls, right?
Right.
Yeah. So
Every
he
musket
shot.
ball was like a gremlin.
Yeah.
You had the leader one. You had the one that's a little crazy and googly eyed. You had like one that was electric. You had one that was a lady.
The one that was a pretty lady, and then the really smart one.
Yeah. And he sang New York, New York.
And then the one who could fly, and he became a gargoyle.
Yeah. Well, because he encountered some cement.
Yeah, that was Gremlin.
Those are the musket balls.
So he was able to outrun even that, and they never caught him. They never that was the closest he ever came to being found out is when the British fired at him. And he barely escaped with his life, but that doesn't mean that they didn't still trust him.
I would imagine they
You know
didn't
what I mean?
know who he was at the time. Like, he'd be like, I'm with Cornwallis.
Yeah, yeah.
They'd be like, bullshit.
You're on the road in the middle of
Yeah.
the goddamn night.
They're like,
like, I'm a spy.
You shouldn't be here.
sir,
Anybody
I
could
think
be
we
like-
saw a spy. What did he look like? I don't know. All spies look the same to me. And it was
Like,
incredibly
I don't know. I
racist.
don't see color.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is that
They
it
didn't
was
want to seem racist. They're like, well, he was like, he was like a tall guy. He's wearing a shirt. What color was he? Well, he was like a guy,
He was also
He
in
was
the
being more
shadows the
liberal.
entire time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was like, I don't know, like he had hair.
Well, here's the thing: is that he may have had the charge to go into Lafayette's camp and be a spy, but the thing is it was a covert operation. Not everyone was supposed to know about it.
Well, I
so
mean,
the
yeah.
modern, the rank and file of the Americans or the British
Well, that's my
didn't
point.
know
is
that
your
he
average
was
dude would
supposed
be
to-
like, oh, you're that spy that all of us know about and we're all talking about.
Yeah,
That
so
any one of
that's
us
what
who
it-
want to defect could say in a second.
Well, they shouldn't have given him that little gong to walk into camp with and be like, ding, 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 spies here, gang.
He would not want to do that. So what happened is the French fleet clashed with they formed a blockade in the Chesapeake Bay around Yorktown, and they clashed with the British fleet that they knew at this point was going to come, and they beat them there. And the thing was the British fleet was scattered because after the French joined the war, they had to all of a sudden go all over the place. So they were stretched really thin. So they were outnumbered in the Chesapeake Bay, and they were completely obliterated.
So the French fleet was like very thin.
The British fleet,
Okay.
not the French fleet. The French fleet formed around Chesapeake
It was
Bay.
like layers and layers and layers of French fleet, like a croissant, not so much like a crepe.
Yes, very, very
Yeah.
much so.
If that's the way you must understand it, then yes.
And because they were at the Chesapeake, they were eating seafood crepe more than.
Oh, I was thinking, I'm getting some clam chowder.
Oh, like a lobster bisque crepe.
I'm thinking
Yeah,
like
I
a
eat
that.
shrimp.
Well,
Like a shrimp.
instead of a lobster roll, it's like a lobster crepe. Mamma mia!
I'm actually down with that.
Yeah.
Lobster was prison food at this point.
Yeah.
If you can
Fucking
believe that.
lock me up.
That's crazy. You know what else is crazy is I used to hate clam chowder.
I'm glad you realized that you were wrong.
I
I'm
was
glad
wrong.
you saw the light.
I think
Clam
even
chowder's
when
so
I knew
good.
when I first met you,
You're like, I don't know.
oh, and then I was like, I'm gonna give it a chance, and I was wrong. When I was a kid, it just you hit pieces of sand,
sand.
and
Oh sure.
And now I'm like,
Sand out.
who gives a
Whatever.
shit?
The sand is the taste of authenticity.
The sand was my issue,
Ah.
and as a grown man, the sand
is authenticity. Came from the ocean.
is what I can stand.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of a rhyme. That's the best I could do.
James, being the double agent that he was, which is super dope. He is basically a 007
Yeah.
of America. He's a 00 agent. He's working for the Americans, working for the British, against the Americans. It's beautiful. But what he did too is he gave them the misleading information, and he was doing this. It was all working beautifully, so well that after the actual Battle of Yorktown, when it all went down for Cornwallis and he realized he was trapped and it was all shit for him, and he surrendered, there's this story, it's probably apocryphal, but Cornwallis saw James Armistead with like standing behind Lafayette, like during the surrender proceedings. And
that would have been great.
Well, the story goes is that Cornwallis was like, "You," and he called him a rascal. He goes, "You rascal," and he goes, "I would have fucking freed you. What the fuck is wrong with you, man?" And he was like, "I trust this motherfucker more, dude. I don't trust you." And yeah.
So that's shocking because to me, for a second, I thought you were going to say that Cornwallis saw James sitting there, like right behind Laffy. He's like, "All right, cool. He's going to murder this motherfucker right in front of me.
No,
and everything's going to be cool.
He knew.
When's it going to happen?"
He knew full well in that moment. He's like, "You son of a bitch. You've been working with them the whole time." You know.
They got me.
Yeah, exactly.
He
Like I said
spun
after
out of the
that
back
dream
room
I
with a
had.
cocktail, like, "Ha ha, it's me the whole time."
It was me the whole time, Austin. You know, Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
Anyway, wrestling reference. So without James's crucial information, the Battle of Yorktown may never have happened. And the war may have drug on for who knows how long, right? Afterwards, you know, because we don't actually know if there would be an actual decisive battle in New York or anything.
Things could have happened a billion different ways.
Exactly. Like, but James directly contributed to the decisive Battle of Yorktown, and that makes him an American hero. That makes him an American hero. He straight up risked his life for American independence.
It sounds like he's the reason the Battle of Yorktown happened.
Even happened at all. Lafayette didn't just know that Cornwallis was going to be in Yorktown. He knew that from James. Mm-hmm. Without James, Lafayette knows nothing. They probably would have drug on for years afterwards
So
if he didn't know this.
When he said to Washington, "We can end this war in Yorktown. We can cut them off at sea."
Yeah,
He learned that from James.
he learned that from
Who
James.
is not in Hamilton.
No.
Racist fucking play.
It's not.
I'm starting to think George Washington wasn't even a black guy.
See, this is just sounding more and more like the 1978 Gundam anime. Like, the battle...
Based on this.
Yeah, exactly. Like, the Battle of Loom, that's exactly what Yorktown was.
I don't
And,
know.
and they crashed Side 5, which was a space station, into the Earth.
I have no idea what you're talking about. This is some nerd shit. But anyway, in Dragon Ball Z. So
Talk about some shit I know, Chris.
I don't want to talk about Dragon Ball Z. Let's talk about Star Wars.
Oh, for God's sake.
let's talk about Star Trek, Jerry.
Yeah, you want to talk about fucking...
Yes,
that
fucking
one-
finally you asked
Fuck
me to
Star
talk
Trek.
about Star Trek.
Yeah.
So,
Boring
Star
ass
Trek,
bullshit.
so there's a
See, no one wants to
Stargate
know about it.
that happens.
I like Stargate too, so fuck you too.
You know what? No, like stupid shit.
I like to call it SG Fun.
Oh, I don't
Nice.
actually like the TV show. I only like the bad movie. It's not a good movie, but the bad movie that's basically also that Disney movie Atlantis.
Yeah.
It's the exact same
I
story.
think that Atlantis movie's better.
So after the war, you know, Lafayette returned to France, and James returned to his master, William Armistead.
Ugh.
And I'm going to really get into why he does and why this is a reality. It's because of the law. Okay? It's because of the law. Let me just get into that later. So you see, James was a spy, but he wasn't a soldier. Okay? And the deal was with the American government that if you were a soldier and you fought with a musket in your hand for the American Revolution, you got your freedom. But you see, James was a spy. So through that technicality,
Oh, fuck.
He wasn't free.
He did more
He
for this
did
country
not-
than anybody
yeah,
else.
he did not gain his freedom.
He did more than, like, most white... Any white soldier. Most white people.
Yeah, this man did... Again, the Battle of Yorktown does not happen without James Armistead. You know what I mean?
It makes me...
It does not
It's
happen.
a fucking bummer.
Yeah, absolutely it is. So, it had also been a law that a slave owner couldn't just free his slaves. You can't just do that, okay? The law's very strict on this. And...
Otherwise you'll have all these free slaves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Messing
And...
up the economy.
Like, we don't need that.
Right?
Yeah, fuck up the economy. Yeah.
The only thing that could really... that was at work in the American government at the time, the only thing that could release slaves from servitude was the court system. And they could only release slaves from servitude if they had, quote, meritorious service. If they went above and beyond, right? So James had gone above and beyond, but he wasn't a soldier,
Yeah, seriously.
right?
But it
So-
was a secret.
it's all of these it's all of these technicalities that kept James
He
from
got
being
into Cornwallis'
free.
tent. I think that's fucking above and beyond.
It's meritorious service.
Yeah.
And that's what he was arguing, right?
Yeah.
And even still though, with this clause of meritorious service and all this stuff, there are innumerable accounts of people who have had meritorious service of going above and beyond that died in slavery.
Yeah.
Even still. Okay, James is just one. Okay, keep that in mind. Like, there are so many people that did really great things that ended up just dying in servitude anyway. And the thing is they use that argument. James even, William Armistead, he got really sickly later on in life, and he wanted to free William Armistead, and he was, a member of the Virginia House of Delegates, so he had some pull. Now, something to understand is all about timing. Okay, so when William Armistead gave a recommendation to the Virginia House of Delegates that he should be free, and when the next thing that's going to happen happens, the first time that James petitions the United States government for his freedom, they don't have these two things. They don't have William Armistead's acceptance of letting him free, and they don't have this next thing that we're going to cover as well. And the next thing is when the Marquis de Lafayette traveled back to the United States for the first time.
We learned about that.
In 1780.
This wasn't
let
his
me find
final
it.
tour, but...
It was 1784.
Okay.
1784 when Lafayette came back to the United States for the first time. And he toured the 13 states.
That wasn't long after the
It
war.
wasn't long after the war, yeah.
It wasn't the final tour. That
Yeah.
This wasn't the big party.
This wasn't the big tour, yeah.
Right.
So there's like 3 times that he crossed the Atlantic Ocean to come to America.
Twice.
Twice?
Well,
Twice.
3.
Three.
3 considering he came there for the war.
Yeah.
And then he went and left a couple of times in between there.
There and back 3 times.
And then
Is that right?
and then he went back to France after the war and then came back in 17.
For the big, yeah.
Oh, yeah. During the war, he went back.
For the reunion
yeah.
tour.
He went back for a reunion tour after the war.
Yeah.
And during this time that he came back, it wasn't the big one
Yeah.
in the 1820s, I believe 1820s. He went back and he actually saw James. And he goes, I can't fucking believe that you're still a fucking slave. Like, what the fuck, dude? You were supposed to be free because of your meritorious service.
Yeah.
Right? And as I mentioned...
Turns out the system's fucking
Yeah,
flawed.
and as I mentioned in our Lafayette episodes, when he went to the Virginia House of Delegates, he railed against slavery. Mm-hmm. And during this time, and he of course, saw that James Armistead was still in servitude. He got so pissed off that he actually sent a letter. And he gave it a copy to James as well. And the letter reads like this. Here's what the actual letter that Lafayette gave to James as like his support for his freedom.
Zach, put music in post.
Like that old-timey, Civil War music. I know this is before Civil War.
Yeah,
Nobody fucking
it's
knows.
some Ken Burns shit.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's what the letter
I was
says.
just gonna put on tequila.
Yeah, no, don't do that. Don't do that.
Like a
But
sad lower,
Yeah.
like minor key version.
here's the letter. Here's the letter that Lafayette sent to the Virginia House of Delegates in support of James Armistead's freedom. He said, quote, "This is to certify that the bearer by the name of James has done essential services to me while I had the honor to command in this state. His intelligence from the enemy's camp were industriously collected and faithfully delivered. He perfectly acquitted himself with some important commissions I gave him and appears to me entitled to every reward his situation can admit of. Done under my hand, Richmond, November 21st, 1784, Lafayette.
So, of course, like, this would have been
1784.
So this would have been a really big deal, but Lafayette was doing, like, his sort of, like, casino resurgence tour, where, like, no one really cares. It's like, Motley Crue back in, like, 1992.
Elvis.
It's his Vegas residency.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So not anyone was really taking him seriously at that point in time.
They did. But he wasn't the superstar he was in his last visit, if that makes sense.
And he wasn't Fat Elvis yet.
No.
Yeah.
but the thing is that he was still a founding father.
He was
as
never
much as
Fat Elvis.
anyone else was. Yeah. He really was. So this letter did have a lot of weight. But the problem is that the Virginia House of Delegates didn't hear William Armistead's "This man must be free," and they didn't hear this letter, even though that Lafayette had given it during this time. They didn't hear it during this time.
You forgot the one point, though, where at the end of the letter where he goes, P.S.
Nice.
That's all I had.
This is French.
Somebody had to do it. I'm glad it
We
wasn't
need to
me.
talk about French. That was genius.
That was so fucking funny.
What William Armistead was trying to do was a term called manumission, which it comes from the Latin of release from control.
Right.
Right. The etymology is really interesting, actually, because manumission, that sort of whole etymology of what that word really comes from, actually comes from, like, Holocaust slavery. Yeah. Which is really interesting to me. I feel like that's the most truthful way to put it.
Manumission?
Manu, yeah. To like, manu means to be in servitude, along with Holocaust. Mm-hmm. And it's like, wow, that is fucking intense. That's what that actually means.
Before the Holocaust.
A bunch of revolutionary
Before
manumission
the Holocaust.
abolitionists.
Yeah.
Give me a position, show me where the ammunition is.
There you go.
Hamilton.
Boom. So yeah, Lafayette was...
I looked up the specific line while he was talking about it, because it was like, oh, they say that in Hamilton. Yeah. Because I don't mention Hamilton enough on this show.
I know.
Welcome to the Hamilton cast.
Dragon Ball Z.
Hamilton Z.
The sequel being they'll go fucking Super Saiyan and shit.
Yeah.
They fight like an alien emperor.
Yeah.
Frieza.
So the first time that James petitioned for his freedom because of his meritorious service, he was denied because they didn't have these two white men saying it was okay. Yeah. Basically, it is the reason. Mm. So much later, I say much later because 2 years, any amount of time in servitude must have felt like an eternity. So in November of 1786, 2 years after Lafayette has been there and given his word saying, this man must be free, he petitions again. James petitions again for his freedom. And this time he has both things working in his favor. And they actually unanimously passed on Christmas Day, 1786, and signed by the governor later on January 9th or 10th, that James Armistead would be free.
So it was a happy Christmas.
They had a big corpulent like constable go, momentous occasion, and he gave him the paperwork.
No, it wasn't momentous. Well. It was a black man getting freedom. But
it was a momentous occasion for him.
Him it was, not for anyone else. Keep that in mind.
Okay, fine. They had a corpulent constable
want to give him freedom. They did not want to do so.
Okay, they had a skinny constable go, momentous occasion, you're free.
You know who I imagine?
They stamped it and said, may you have a long and fruitful life.
You could hear the eye roll when
what I imagine this court was like, was the judge, was the, from Pink Floyd's The Wall.
I knew you were going to say that, yeah.
I can't believe you knew.
The asshole judge, yeah.
it's like
I knew you were going
makes
there.
you want to defecate or something, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like,
Sit on him, Judge. Yeah.
you go on, you do a thing where you just buy a house and then everyone complains about property values or whatever. You go.
Okay, well, here's
Pink
the thing.
Floyd, yeah.
Here's the
Pink
thing.
Floyd.
Here's the thing
Mixed
about
with American white racism.
Oh.
Yeah.
here's the thing about freedom for him. Here's what freedom meant for him. I want you to remember that the Constitution itself says that a black man is 3/5 a white man. 3/5 a man that a white man is.
I have heard that.
It doesn't matter what they've done, who they are. They will always be 3/5 of a person than what a white man is. This is our Constitution. Okay, like whenever anyone holds Constitution in some sort of godly light, always remember that it says in the original Constitution with 0 amendments, it says that black men are 3/5 of a man.
It does, yes.
Black women have nothing. Okay? So keep that in mind. Remember this. Because even though he's free, quote unquote free, he is still 3/5 of a person. He isn't a citizen of the United States. He's not a citizen of America. Just by being free, that doesn't make him a citizen. He's not a citizen. Lafayette, a Frenchman, is a citizen. Not
Right.
James. James is not a citizen.
No, it's fucked.
Isn't that insane?
So he goes into
you
a
guys?
shop and he buys something. The guy's
It's
like
fucking
$5,
infuriating.
and he gives him $5. He goes, "You're black. You only gave me $3."
You're a person with a different color
Yeah.
of skin, you have less value. I know that that's something we've been dealing with in our society and human history for forever, but it is fucking infuriating.
The 3/5.
that is still fucking
The
problem.
3/5 has never gone away.
No.
Totally. Has never gone away totally. It still echoes to this day. It's still a part of our culture to this day. Like, why do you think that we have to have movements like the Black Lives Matter movement? Why do you think why do you think these movements
yeah.
have to happen?
Abso-fucking-lutely.
Our what this country is based off of is 3/5. It's called the 3/5 rule.
Yeah, which right.
It's incredible, you know.
They're
like-
just other humans. Treated. Yeah, it's fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
So
I blame Dutch Hulk.
Yeah.
Dutch Hulk is horrible. But
If you're looking for someone to blame,
It's-
blame the white fucking privilege that has existed through this country's history.
I was
So-
gonna blame Dutch Hulk, but
Don't blame that.
I wasn't like, this isn't me like trying to make a joke or anything, but honestly, I think the only way that it's gonna get through people, and by people I mean white people's skulls about, you know, racism and the whole like 3/5 thing, is that it's gonna take 3/5 of how long it's taking us to be a country for it to finally get it into people's fucking heads, you know?
yeah. I mean, I get what you're saying. Is
I get that, but let's think about this. Let's think about when, you know, it was the 1960s when President Johnson signed in the Civil Rights Act into law. Which,
Cynically,
well, he did it because it was one of Kennedy's sort of things that he wanted to do.
Right, but also...
And what happened is that Johnson, being a Southern Democrat, he lamented that he had just handed the whole South to the Republican Party, which he did. Mm-hmm. And that was the last death nail in the coffin of the two parties changing platforms.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So when Johnson, a Democrat, signed in the Civil Rights Bill, that is why the South is Republican. And if anyone fucking tells me that the Republican Party and the Democratic Party have not changed platforms, they simply do not understand history, and they simply do not understand exactly everything
they
that's
just
gone
don't
into
like
it.
that it makes their party look bad.
Yeah, their
That's
football
all it
team
is.
looked bad. And yeah, that's it. Like, you could be fiscally all you want, but it's directly, I'm telling
Well,
you,
how do you
it's
explain-
directly linked to your party's ideology.
How do you explain that our last president, thank God he wasn't reelected, would call people who were protesting African Americans who were shot in the street by police officers in a massively disproportionate amount than any other white people in any other group. He would call them the radical left for not wanting a certain group of people based off the color of their skin to be murdered in the street disproportionately. That is radical left, according to our previous president.
And
what
what
goes
the Preachcast.
Yeah, what goes along with that is that white people are the vast majority, I should say. The vast majority of white people are not. They're schooled in American history that glosses over this kind of a thing. They don't understand Black history simply because it's not taught.
Well, and
right?
that's
not taught.
everybody. That's not just white people. That's everybody.
But Black Americans do have more of an understanding because they've wanted to find...
Because they have to live through it. They have to live through the effects.
And think about it. Like, you don't want to worship the white founders of this country in the same way that white people do. You want to find your own Black heroes. And that's the whole point of Black History Month, right? Yeah. It's because every month is White History Month, right? So at least there's
11 White History Months.
At least there's 1 month where you can look at your Black heroes and you can say, look, I haven't been crazy the entire time. Like, since this country's founding, it has been this way, and it's been worse. But since this country's founding, it's been this way. It is no fucking mystery that they're being treated to this day the way they're being treated because of how they've always been treated. Okay, so again, like, stop relying on anecdotal things where we're like, well, I don't see it, so it doesn't exist.
I'm not experiencing this. I made it.
I've experienced something, and guess what? I saw something to the contrary. Just because you've experienced something does not mean that counts for an entire population.
Right. No.
You know what I mean?
I think that's,
and that goes with every fucking argument.
I think that's the worst the way in which Americans view things is that I was able to make it, then why can't anyone else?
Yeah.
Or my favorite is...
They discount luck and who they know.
Right, but my absolute favorite is, well, I know a Black guy who completely doesn't agree with this because, they were able to make it by themselves and they're not bitching and complaining.
I have heard that...
Well, that's still anecdotal. Yeah. That's still a logical fallacy.
Yeah.
That does not apply to the whole.
I've heard people argue that we had a Black president, there is no racism anymore. I've heard people be like, we almost had a woman president, there is no sexism anymore.
The weakest argument I've heard is, the brown eggs and the white eggs, and they crack them and it's the same thing, and they go, look, it solved fucking racism. It can't be solved by showing people that we bleed the same. There's a system that was built just after the war to keep them the way they were. And what's happened, even since the Civil War, is to just poke holes in these walls that were built after the Revolution. And it's like what we talked about during the Lafayette episodes, is that the only reason why the American country survived at all is because they had slave labor to bolster their economy.
Well, we also talked in the Tale of Two Elections how Reconstruction basically just got walked the fuck over, like totally ended.
Yeah, and so it's no surprise that Black people don't trust the American electoral system, because from there we have Hayes, who the only reason why he can be president is to shut down Reconstruction, or Tilden, who his plan all along was to shut down Reconstruction. So either way,
you're fucked.
You have somebody who's going to shut down Reconstruction prematurely. Anyway, 1790, still in James Armistead's life, Congress excluded naturalization to anyone who wasn't already a free white. So, if you were a slave, you were a slave for life.
Okay.
And you couldn't be naturalized if you weren't already a free white.
And this is because they couldn't get in a new influx of slaves.
Yes.
It's about the economy.
Yes. And so, well, that's what they say. But they just didn't want to do it for themselves. Yeah. But the point is that James, even with his freedom, did not have the same rights that Americans have. Even though he's a free man,
Right.
he is not a citizen, and he does not get to have the same rights that other white people have, including freeing slaves at a certain point. Because again, the laws are very complicated. Now,
So he's not free with a giant waving American flag. He's free with a tiny baseball
one.
game American flag.
made in China
Yeah.
American flag.
Yeah,
Yes, yes, yes. Now, James, when he was free, he bought a cheap piece of land. This land was dog shit, but it was his. Okay, he bought it for himself. It's 40 acres of land. It was cheap, but he bought it, and it was his.
I
and he
get it. I'm
worked
friends with Chris.
Clearly, I'm offended.
Yeah, and he grew subsistence crops on his land. Now, it's also on the books that he had 3 slaves. Most people, when they're describing the story of James Armistead Lafayette, they stop there. And they don't go any further in their research with who these 3 slaves that he owned were. You know who they were? His fucking family.
Jesus.
His wife and his children.
Are you fucking shitting me?
I'm not. Could you imagine having to, with the money that Congress is giving you for your freedom, you have to buy your family and you have to own your family. Now let me tell you the implications of owning your family. If you are to die before your children are of a certain age, then what that means is that they are unceremoniously sold back into slavery.
Well, it sounds like
fucking Christ.
since G-Dub fucking made the one law, there's nothing he can do. He can't free them.
No, but here's the deal. If your oldest son is 18 years old, he can inherit your land and be free. You know, if you live long
what
enough
happened?
until he's 18. Luckily, he did. He
Thank
did
God.
live long enough.
You know what I would do if
But
I
the-
didn't?
but-
I'd be like, he's still alive. He's just in the bathroom.
But the
Weekend at Bernie's 3.
Oh,
the
yeah.
prequel.
the point is,
Prequel? Jesus fucking Christ.
the
That would
point,
be a fucked up movie.
That's fucked up. The point is that yeah, he's with his family, but can you imagine, like, the pressure he must have been under
He's like, I
in
need to eat.
owning his family?
I need to eat
because
very well.
because he doesn't have the same rights as citizens. He's not a citizen of the United States, no matter what he did. Not a citizen, so he doesn't have the same rights. So he cannot free anybody until they become a certain age.
So they'll be like, Dad,
What the fuck?
like, Dad, you gonna eat that cheeseburger?
I'm
Or...
thinking about like ordering a pizza on a Friday night. Who gets the remote? Like there's
He's
some
like-
weird flexes in that
I
house.
fucking hate you.
And I know that it's like shitty to think about because he's like, hey, if you guys don't like it, you guys should just kill me. Oh no, you can't do that because then you'll be slaves again. Like,
Jesus
So-
Christ.
so I guess we're watching Wheel, and I guess we're having pepperoni. And I think we can all agree that that's what we're doing. And he just gets to run this
and
like
we're
a
watching
dictator.
Young Sheldon.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, the point I'm trying to make is that
No, it's
you're
super
not
upsetting.
you're not in a fucking relationship, like a normal relationship
Yeah.
with a human relationship with your family. You own them. By the law's standards, you own them.
Yeah.
If you go away too soon, if you die too soon, there's a lot of pressure on you. And if you die too
If
soon
they're
and all
out
this stuff,
of line of sight for
They-
too long,
yeah.
something bad could happen.
But what infuriates me the most about this part in the story is that so many sources, and I promise you, I've heard other people repeat this, and I've heard I've read it myself. They go, "Oh, you know what? He owned slaves," and that's just the complexity of what happened because they don't read any further into it. I promise you.
Bunch of motherfuckers.
It's
This
the fact
is-
that he bought his family.
I promise you this is what happened. Is that they saw, oh, he had 3 slaves. That's the fucking craziness of the time. And that's it. I cannot... It infuriates me that there are so many people that repeat this knowledge that, oh, he had slaves, so that's just the complexity of the time. Oh, well, and we kind of brush it away. No. He had to spend what little money he had to buy his family and then own his family. Can you imagine how fucking disgusting that must have felt for him?
And the pressure that you would feel as his wife and children to perform at a level that made his purchase feel worthwhile.
I'm sure he was a good man and
I'm
didn't
kidding.
fucking actually use them as fucking slaves.
It's not my job to fucking tell history, Jerry. That's your job. it's my job
I'm just saying,
to find
it
the absurdity in it. And
it pisses me off that there's still, to this day, people
you've talked about that.
that are repeating that he owned 3 slaves, and that's just how it goes. No,
They don't talk
it
about
was
who
his
his 3
fucking,
slaves were.
It was just his fucking family.
and if they're like, how come you don't have food? How come your basement's not finished? He's like, oh, I'm sorry, I had to buy my family. I had to buy my family, and that's where my money went. So I'm
can't keep up with the
sorry that you can
Joneses.
see the drywall and it's not painted yet, guys. So yeah,
No, that is beyond infuriating. Like, it's...
I can't do it. I can't imagine that. I cannot imagine that.
The enormous amount of human cruelty that has existed in this country
Systemically.
not that long ago that we are still dealing with is absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, no, it's beyond ridiculous. I mean, like, usually I make the joke of, like, oh, my wife, because, like, she's my wife, that's my property.
Again,
but like,
3/5.
You don't feel that way.
no, not
That's the joke.
even at all. I mean, for one, she's actually white, and me being half brown, she owns me, and she,
If anything.
also, she's the one that's paying the bills because fucking thank you, COVID.
My wife's making money.
But no, like seriously, it honestly is so upsetting to hear that a man who had to be a fucking double agent,
He was a hero.
who was a goddamn hero, couldn't fucking get his
Buy his
freedom.
family.
Had to buy his goddamn family. That is, and the fact that history doesn't really say shit about this.
No. Well,
It says it makes him look like a piece of shit.
What made it, what really pissed me off about it is the fact that people talk about James Armistead as some sort of hero, and then go on to say, "Oh, but once he was granted freedom, he owned slaves."
yeah. He's looking at his family. He's looking at his Bowflex, and then he's looking at his friend, and he's saying, "My family's the best purchase I've ever made." And you can tell that he's been using that Bowflex day in, day out, working on his chest, working on his core.
Fuck you.
And you know that he's in great shape because of that Bowflex, and he's one of the only people that in history that's ever committed, really committed to the Bowflex.
So with his freedom, though, James Armistead took the last name Lafayette after the one person that fucking, other than himself, fought for his freedom. Lafayette.
Very fucking cool.
And so that's why he took that last name.
That is cool.
The only man to ever speak to him like an equal, like a human being.
Yeah.
What ended up happening to his family?
We don't know.
Yeah, they didn't.
History is with black people in this country's history, especially if they're in servitude, it's hard to tell what happens to them. They're
probably
generally
not good.
invisible. They're generally faceless. That's just the reality because of the systemic racism that has always existed from this country's founding.
Right.
I'd like to think there's a reverso world where things went different and,
Lots of different things happened.
yeah, like white people they were the slaves.
Wouldn't you love to just imagine different history?
Yeah, wouldn't that be convenient to be
Wouldn't it
like...
be convenient?
To be like, generations of ill worked out a different way, and maybe not
Reconstruction,
feel guilt every
maybe
single
panned
day.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Native Americans chose to move to a new place so that the whites could.
Or Native Americans maybe got some sort of
Autonomy?
alien hardware, and they used that against the Spanish settlers and
Okay.
later the whites, and they really took them
Something
to task.
supernatural.
Yeah, they didn't need
Not
that.
something that was maybe an easy decision to make.
Okay, or maybe they found some fucking... I don't know, they found some ore in the ground. They made a better weapon. I don't know. History worked different, and they
You're
killed...
talking fucking Lord of the Rings right now. It's already written.
I'm just saying, guys. Aliens.
So in 1818, Congress actually passed a law to give Revolutionary War vets a stipend.
Fuck. About
Anyone
time.
that had served in the military would get a stipend.
Is somebody that we know about to get fucked?
No.
Okay, good.
Well, James applied for the stipend, and as a free man, he actually received $60 as upfront pay, and then $40 annually as a military stipend.
And at the time, that's a lot of money.
At the time, it was a lot of money, but not enough to like make you rich. You know what I mean? Yeah. You ain't rich, but it's it's good to help you keep moving forward.
You can get food and smokes and fucking keep your feet up, you know?
Yeah, this is before
You ain't
Social
rich.
Security, so...
Yeah, but like...
I want that to be clear. He's not rich.
Rich and comfortable are two different things, my friend.
He's comfortable, certainly. But he used to be a slave. So he's very comfortable.
So really, like, not being treated like farm equipment is, like, comfortable.
Exactly. Until 1824. Oh, no. No.
Terry.
This is the good part of the story.
Oh.
Okay.
This is the good part of the story. 1824. Because, like, James hung out on his farm with his family that the country considered slaves that he owned. He hung out there for a long time, and he sort of faded into obscurity for a long time. Long time. Till about 1824. I mean, this is over 40 years since the Revolution, you know. Now, 1824, if you remember, was the time of the Marquis de Lafayette's triumphal return back to America after he'd got out of the Austrian prison.
This was his final Sting Scorpions tour.
Yes,
Oh,
exactly.
he's gonna get the band back
Yeah.
together again, huh?
Yeah, Cher's farewell tour.
Yeah.
Right.
That kept happening.
Just like Scorpions.
Marquis-
Final Sting tour
is
was
Marquis-
not the final
Yeah,
Sting.
yeah.
Is
yeah.
Marquis de Lafayette gonna show up at Armistead Lafayette's house and be like, "We're gonna get the band back together. It's gonna be about the music again, mostly old stuff for the
but
fans."
you're gonna love this. James knew that he had to see the Marquis at least one more time. This is the man that fought for his freedom. This is the man that gave him the opportunity to gain his freedom. He had to see this guy again. One of the only white men to ever treat him like a normal person. He had to see this guy one more time.
Sure.
He didn't have the money to like get a carriage or a wagon ride over to Richmond, so he walked.
Oh, no.
James, as an older man, he is an older man by this point. Whether he was born in 1748 or 1760, he's an older man by 1820s. You know what I mean? He walked to Richmond.
My feet already hurt just thinking about it.
Yeah, and here's the thing, is that when he got to Richmond, there's a shit ton of people. There's a crowd there.
Yeah.
A huge crowd ready to welcome Marquis de Lafayette. And he's just in the crowd, and he's like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get in there. I don't know. The carriage is passing by, and here's the Marquis, and he's on the carriage, and he's waving to the cheering throngs. Much older man now. And all of a sudden, his eyes stop, and he calls for his carriage to stop. Everyone stops. And he sees a man in the audience, and the crowd parts. And there's two men looking at each other. It's James Armistead Lafayette and the Marquis de Lafayette. And they're looking at each other. And they come forward and they hug. And they have this tearful reunion. He can't believe that he's still alive. And if you know Marquis de Lafayette's story, it's a wonder that he's still alive. It's crazy that they went through everything they went through, and they're still alive, and they're here, and they saw each other. They're still alive, and they're both free.
Are they gonna get in the carriage and fly away like the end of Grease?
No.
Yeah.
No, but the rest of the crowd has no idea who James is.
He fucking loves this dude, man.
The Marquis stopped the carriage for this black man to come and hug. They have no idea. Everyone at the time has no idea who James is. They say, who is this guy? It was one of those moments where, like, only those two shared that moment, even amongst a crowd. And no one knew exactly what was going on, except for the Marquis and James Lafayette. The story could go a lot of different ways. I've heard it a lot of different ways. Where, like, Marquis de Lafayette was giving a speech and he saw him in the crowd.
Yeah.
But I
Some
think
version of that happened.
yeah, it's some version of this. I honestly think it was probably more along the lines of he was traveling, there was a crowd gathered around, and James was there.
Also, crowds were a lot smaller back then.
Honestly, probably true.
There's just less people, and they're all smaller.
Yeah.
So
You see, so going back to the movie that we've been writing this entire time about this this episode, I really hope that it takes place in the 90s, the way that we film it, just so that this scene could have that
Kiss
song "Kiss
Me."
Thank you, "Kiss
Is
Me."
that really
yeah,
where you're going?
I was about to say have him "Kiss Me" in the background when they see each other and they stop the carriage and embrace each other.
See, I want Time After Time to play.
So Time After Time would be 80s though.
I know.
But I'm thinking
17.
I heard that song though. Like, if you fall, I will catch you. You will find it. Time after time.
No, I want them to embrace so slowly and so lovingly.
Just hearing the guitar.
And then it'd be Du Hast.
Oh, God.
And then it shows Lafayette looking into the camera. He's got Terminator eyes. Flip it around to James Armistead Lafayette. He's got Terminator eyes. They're both the villain. Cut to black. Directed by Tyler Armistead. Thank you very much.
I thought you were going to say directed by the Wachowskis, but okay, that works too.
Well, listen, guys. The reality is, it was an extremely moving, tearful reunion for everyone who was in attendance.
Right.
Even if they didn't know who
Like,
James
I don't know who
was.
this guy is, but these guys are crying, so I'm crying. You know how it is.
And Sixpence None the Richer is playing in the background.
Yeah.
It was the last time they would ever see each other. Of course it was.
Yeah.
6 years later, James Armistead Lafayette passed away peacefully on August 9th, 1830, as a true American hero.
Goddamn right.
There you go.
Hopefully surrounded by his friends, family, enemies.
By his family that a lot of people still consider his slaves.
He was surrounded by his slaves.
It was his family.
Yeah, that's fucked.
This was for Black History Month due to my poor planning, and I do lay it on myself. Due to poor planning, this will come out the last week of February. I apologize for that, of course.
It comes out. It's not coming out in March.
Yeah, but Black History Month is extremely important. I take it very seriously. It was just my poor fucking planning and research that
Like, I'm
got
gonna
led
talk
into
about
one
this white French
episode.
guy all fucking
Yeah, exactly,
February.
right? All fucking February, and one fucking black guy that was extremely important.
At the very end.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, well...
Anyway,
We are the History Boys. Thank you for listening. I am Chris Whedon.
I'm Tyler Armentrout. I am everybody's favorite history boy.
I am Zach, the Disappointment Mech, also a history boy.
nice. I am Jerry Nash, your humble history boy. Thank you so much again for listening. As always, we adore all of our listeners. We would like you to follow us on all the social media platforms. That's Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. And of course, we do have a Patreon where you can pay as little as $1 to support us. And one beautiful thing that happened just recently is we had just enough money. We paid for our transistor, and what that means is that we paid to have our podcast shot out to Spotify and Apple and all that stuff 100% by our Patreon supporters for the first time ever, and it's fucking beautiful. And with the leftover money, there wasn't a lot, but with the leftover money, we paid for another book for me, for research material. And I just can't fucking believe that we have that amount of support from you. It's just honestly amazing, and I can't thank you enough. You're literally keeping the show going, and you're literally keeping episodes coming out.
You're the power source of a machine that we are the cogs in, and as long as you're zapping us, we'll keep on turning, giving you new shit.
I'm zapped.
Yeah.
We're currently zapped. We're all currently zapped, clearly currently zapped.
Yeah.
Zach is zapped.
Just go over to patreon.com/HistoryBoiz, BOIZ, and you can download. You can donate as little as $1 a month. We have 3 tiers. Essentially, every single tier that we have gets you access to our Discord, where you can hang out with us. Just the other week, we did a Beers with the Boys,
Which is a lot of fun.
where you just get to hang out and shoot the shit with us, and make fun of Tyler for his parroting skills, quiz Chris on his Dragon Ball knowledge.
You're gonna fuck with me, man.
Yes, stare into the void with me and do some drunk ramblings, or just argue with Jerry about history. It's all great. It's fun. We love it, and you should totally get on that shit.
It's a lot. It's a lot of fun, and you know what? There are things that can help us that are not monetary speaking, and that is simply leaving us a review on Apple, because Apple is kind of the end all be all for a lot of podcasts. Really, like no one else gives you the option to rate and review. But Apple does, and a lot of these other platforms take heed from Apple, I guess, for lack of a better term, like their rating systems and
Apple
stuff.
carries the baton.
Yeah, so a good way to help us without any money whatsoever. If you don't have any money, not even $1 a month to spend, that's cool. I totally understand. But what I would ask from you specifically, like I'm talking to you, the person that doesn't have $1 to spend a month, I totally get it. I've been there. Just leave us a review. Honestly, that is so much support for us. If you give us a fucking review on Apple Podcasts, it really helps us out.
It can be an incredibly negative review. We won't even mind.
Well, no, we will mind because if you do, let me reiterate. I've said this a few times.
Should be a positive review.
But yeah, give us a 5-star review.
5 stars.
I
Guys.
have no shame in asking for you.
You're either first or you're last. Give us a 5-star review, or else we're gonna give you a 1-star review and we'll see how you feel about it.
You mean a permaband?
Yeah, perfect.
I won't bet. The thing is if you're interested in helping us, give us a 5-star review. I mean, that is the best way to help us.
There's actually a $1,000 Patreon level where you give us a 1-star review, but give us $1,000 a month, and we accept that. We're totally okay with it. And you can tell us that we stink, and that we're gross, and that we're bad at history. But you're paying $1,000 a month to do it, and we're cool with it.
Important caveat: if you give us no money,
it's the abuse tier.
Yeah,
$1,000 a month,
and it gets us rock hard.
If you give us
it
no
gets
money,
me rock hard. I'm sorry, you guys. I don't
want
to
bring
you
rock
into
hard.
it.
Gets me rock hard.
Yeah.
If you give us no money,
gross. I'm sorry.
At least give us a 5-star review. If you give us no money and a 1-star review, you'll be mocked mercilessly behind the scenes. And we're all very funny people. You'll be mocked expertly.
Yeah,
you've heard the podcast. We're hilarious.
Dude, you will be destroyed. You'll be picked apart.
Dick and fart jokes.
And look.
Up and down.
The other thing that you can do that has nothing to do with money, tell your friends.
Oh, yeah, I always forget about that.
You got friends stuck in traffic. You got friends who have desk jobs. They love podcasts.
Well,
you got to tell them about our show.
Dude, don't you want to hang out with your friends and have the same things to talk about? Like, you listen to our show. Don't you want your friends to listen to the show so you have like you can talk about like the jokes and whatnot?
Let me paint a picture. You're sitting next to the water cooler and you're drinking your water. Your friend walks up and you're just fucking hoping that you have something in
You're
common with this
hungover.
guy. You're hungover. You say, "Did you listen to the new History Boys?" And they go, "Yeah, it was pretty good." And you smile and you nod, and it's not like every other conversation you've had in your life where you go, "Hey, you watched this show on Netflix?" "No, I haven't." And then you got to tell them about the show, and you know they're not interested. And then they tell you about something they're watching on Disney Plus, and you're not interested.
Somebody poops
and,
their pants.
Yeah, and somebody poops their pants, and it stinks. It stinks, and you want to get out.
Wouldn't you rather just talk about History Boys?
Wake me up from this nightmare and listen to the History Boys.
Thank you so much to everyone who listens and helps spread the word about us and gives us reviews, especially our Patreon pals. We love you more than words can describe. And with that,
Love you, bye!
It's silly or saying you. We had a lot of fun. We'll see you next time. Or I guess we won't spoil them.